If you have the right DNA and you love the game and you love to compete, then you're going to be a great fit, with this team, because we're about winning. I mean, this is a winning franchise. We've had constant success of winning and being in the playoffs. And, my plan is to return us to that level of consistency. And that takes commitment. That takes players that really are invested in being great players.
The Indiana Fever thought their biggest change was drafting Caitlyn Clark. They were wrong. Just when the spotlight on the WNBA couldn't get any brighter, the franchise dropped a bombshell that changes the entire game. Kelly Krauskopf, the legendary architect of the Fever's only championship and their golden era of dominance, is back. But this isn't a celebratory homecoming tour. This is a rescue mission. She has returned to a franchise that is simultaneously experiencing unprecedented success off the court and a simmering crisis on it. A major decision is looming that will determine the future of their billion-dollar superstar, Caitlyn Clark. The entire organization is about to be turned upside down, and head coach Christie Sides is standing directly in the eye of the storm.
Christie Sides, the head coach of the Fever, she should be fired. Lynn Dunn, the general manager of the Fever, she should be fired. And the water boy, Bobby Boucher, or whoever the water boy, fire them all. They've turned this Caitlyn Clark to the WNBA into the Fire Festival 2.0. And there has to be a firing squad for this level of incompetence. Has to happen.
To understand the chaos in Indiana, you have to understand the sheer magnitude of the Caitlyn Clark effect. We're talking sold-out arenas, not just at home, but on the road, charter flights, record-shattering television ratings. Clark didn't just join the WNBA, she lifted the entire league onto her shoulders. But with that unprecedented attention comes unprecedented pressure. Fans who tuned in to see a phenom rewrite the history books are instead witnessing what many are calling a coaching catastrophe. Despite the team finally breaking a 7-year playoff drought, the feeling among the fan base and analysts is one of profound disappointment. They believe Caitlyn Clark's historic rookie season is being actively squandered by baffling leadership. The situation has become so toxic that prominent sports commentators have labeled the Fever season a Fire Festival 2.0, a perfect storm of massive hype undone by spectacular incompetence. The hashtag Firesides doesn't just trend on game days, it dominates the conversation, a constant deafening roar for a complete and total regime change.
Although it didn't end the way we wanted it to end, there was a lot of optimism. There was a lot of enthusiasm around, this is a new beginning, it's a new start. And, I think it's great for our franchise, it's great for our fans, and we're excited to see, who can join us and help us as we continue to move forward and continue to be a great.
The case against Christie Sides isn't just based on emotion, it's built on a mountain of concrete, baffling decisions that have been dissected frame by frame by an enraged public. It goes far beyond one or two bad plays. Let's start with the most infamous moment, the game against the powerhouse Las Vegas Aces. With the game hanging in the balance, down to the final possession, Sides drew up a play. But it wasn't for Caitlyn Clark, the most clutch shooter in a generation. It wasn't for Kelsey Mitchell, a career 37% three-point shooter. Instead, the decisive shot was designed for Aaliyah Boston, the team's star center, who shoots a miserable 26.9% from behind the arc. The play was a disaster, and it became a symbol of a coach seemingly out of her depth.
You are an absolute abomination of a head coach. I can't believe you actually have a job.
We're seeing some very questionable decisions on the court, and it's...
But that was just one moment. This pattern of questionable strategy has plagued the team all season. Her player rotations have been a constant source of frustration. Key starters, including Clark, are logging dangerously high minutes, often playing entire halves without a break. This leads to visible exhaustion in the critical fourth quarters, where leads evaporate and games are lost. In a pivotal game against the Chicago Sky, fans watched in horror as the opponents went on a 15-2 run. Any seasoned coach would have called a timeout to stop the bleeding, regroup, and draw up a play. But Sides just stood there, watching the collapse unfold. In another game against the Sparks, she went an astonishing 17 minutes of game time, spanning from the 7-minute mark of the third quarter to the final minute of the fourth, without calling a single timeout as the team's lead disintegrated. This isn't just a mistake, it's seen as a fundamental failure of game management, a complete inability to feel the flow of the game and make adjustments when they matter most.
Competence is why that game ended up that way. She doesn't call a timeout for about a 17-minute span from the 7+ minute mark of the third quarter to about the final minute of the fourth.
The problems run even deeper than play calling and rotations. The team's defense has been an absolute turnstile. They finished the season ranked near the bottom of the league in nearly every significant defensive category. They give up points in bunches, with opposing guards routinely penetrating to the rim with little to no resistance. There appears to be no cohesive defensive scheme, no identity, and no accountability. When you contrast Sides' sideline demeanor with that of a proven winner like Becky Hammon of the Aces, who is fiery, constantly coaching, and fiercely advocating for her players, the difference is staggering. Fans see Sides simply waving her arms or pacing with a look of confusion, projecting an image not of a confident leader, but of someone overwhelmed by the moment.
To a place that you helped build, you had a hand in building, it's special. So I certainly wasn't, thinking of this as an option at the point in my career where I am, but I'll say Mel Raines is a good recruiter. I'm going to have her help me with some free agents. So I'm really grateful to Mel, to Herb Simon, the Simon family, for trusting me to be the steward of the franchise again. I mean, this is a seminal moment in women's sports. It's a big opportunity to be a part of this rising tide that we're all experiencing. I think being a part of the first 18 years and building the franchise from the beginning gave me a lot of insight, institutional knowledge, 6 years on the NBA side, to be ready for this moment, to leverage all that experience, and certainly look at this as a new...
Just when the calls for her job reached a fever pitch, and everyone expected the axe to fall, Kelly Krauskopf executed a move that left the entire WNBA world stunned. She stepped up to a microphone and publicly, unequivocally praised Christie Sides. Krauskopf lauded her resilience, her leadership, and her skills as a culture builder. She spoke about the immense pressure Sides and her staff had to endure, and how impressed she was with the team's progress. But for those who listened closely, her words were more revealing for what they omitted. She never once mentioned Sides' actual on-court strategy, her tactical decisions, or her questionable game management. It was a masterclass in corporate public relations, carefully crafted to praise the person while completely sidestepping their professional performance.
You don't know how to use Caitlyn Clark's strengths. You don't know how to play to her weaknesses. You don't know how to draw up a simple out-of-bounds play. You don't know how to calm down muddy waters. You don't know how to call a timeout and relax everybody's emotions. You don't know how to talk to the referees. All you know how to do is wave your arms and defensive slide on the sidelines. And Christie Sides, I'm tired of seeing it every single game.
This has created a massive debate. What is Krauskopf's real motive? Is this genuine support, or is it a calculated smokescreen? The consensus among insiders is that this is 4D chess. A savvy executive of Krauskopf's caliber would never publicly undermine or fire a coach until she has a replacement lined up and ready to go. Doing so would create chaos, make the organization look unstable, and potentially sabotage any secret negotiations with other candidates. By backing Sides publicly, Krauskopf maintains a veneer of stability, buys herself precious time to conduct a thorough coaching search behind the scenes, and keeps the current players from completely checking out. She is playing the long game, and her public statements are likely just the opening move.
We wouldn't be where we are today without Kelsey Mitchell. I mean, she's clearly a very foundational piece. She's got 7 years of being in and out of this building. She went through a lot as we were preparing to be even better, as a better place to play, a new practice court, a new arena, all the remodels. I mean, Kelsey went through all of that, and she got better. She never put her head down. She kept playing hard and did everything she could. So she's extremely important to the success of the future. We intend to, have lots of conversations and make sure she knows that, but I think she does know that.
While Krauskopf plays her cards close to her chest, the fan base has already made their choice. They are clamoring for the return of a queen, Stephanie White. For Fever fans, White isn't just another coach. She represents a return to glory. She was a key player for the team in its early years, an assistant coach during their championship run, and the head coach who led the legendary Tamika Catchings to the WNBA Finals in 2015. She is Fever royalty. After leaving Indiana, she proved her brilliance once again. She took over the Connecticut Sun, a team that had just lost its superstar player, and immediately coached them to one of the best records in the entire league. She is a proven winner, a brilliant offensive mind, and an expert in player development. Fans see her as the only coach capable of unlocking the full terrifying potential of a talent like Caitlyn Clark. The calls for her return are not just whispers. They are a deafening, unified demand from a fan base desperate for a leader worthy of their new superstar.
This is a place where players can come and get better and be surrounded by an organization that supports you, where they're going to have everything they need to be successful. So if you have the right DNA and you love the game and you love to compete, then you're going to be a great fit.
Lost in the intense drama surrounding the coaching situation is Krauskopf's actual long-term vision, which is far more ambitious than just swapping out one person on the sidelines. Her mission is to build a fortress around Caitlyn Clark, a perennial championship contender. This project began with her public declaration that retaining Kelsey Mitchell, a veteran scorer who has weathered years of losing, is a foundational priority. But the real work lies in fixing the team's most glaring weakness. Krauskopf has been vocal about the team's porous defense. She is reportedly targeting tough, physical, and high IQ defensive players in free agency and the draft. Imagine Caitlyn Clark's offensive wizardry paired with a lockdown wing defender and a formidable rim protector. That's the formula for a dynasty. She's looking for players who can run the floor, catch Clark's incredible transition passes, and knock down open shots, transforming the team from a one-woman show into an unstoppable, cohesive unit.
We've got to get to a level of toughness. When things are going south on us, we're not stopping the bleeding. We've got to be able to told them earlier, like that is going to be that's what's going to help us, is when we figure out how to be able to, if somebody keeps punching you, because they just keep punching us, we've got to be able to respond to it. We've got to give some of that back. And that's where we are. We've got to get to enough.
Some movement in the front office is happening at the Indiana Fever. The team announcing a former Dallas Wings executive will now be...
If anyone had any lingering doubts about Krauskopf's willingness to make cold, calculated decisions, she erased them with her very first move. In a stunning power play, she replaced general manager Lynn Dunn with Amber Cox, a former executive from the Dallas Wings. This wasn't just a simple personnel change, it was a seismic shift in the organization's power structure. Lynn Dunn wasn't just any GM. She was Krauskopf's longtime mentor and trusted right-hand woman. Together, they built the original Fever dynasty. By replacing her, Krauskopf sent a chilling message to everyone in the building: loyalty and past history mean nothing. The only thing that matters is winning, and no one is safe from this organizational overhaul. This first domino has already fallen, proving that Krauskopf is on a mission to clean house. If she's willing to part ways with her closest ally, her public defense of Christie Sides begins to look less like a vote of confidence and more like a temporary stay of execution.
CEO, she's all in. Everybody in this company's all in. Everybody in this city's all in. And I think having that experience and gone through those days of, tough roads, where everybody in the league has gone through it, and we're all bonded by what the possibilities are at this next level.
All of this turmoil raises a critical question. How is this affecting the players in the locker room? The pressure on Caitlyn Clark is almost unimaginable. As a 22-year-old rookie, she is being asked to be the face of a league, carry a franchise on her back, and navigate the internal politics of a team whose coach is publicly on the hot seat. To her credit, she has been the consummate professional in every interview, always deflecting praise and supporting her teammates and coaches. But behind the scenes, the strain must be immense. For veterans like Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, who have endured years of losing, this new era of success is being tainted by constant drama and instability. This is a fragile ecosystem, and Krauskopf knows that the longer this coaching uncertainty lingers, the more it risks poisoning the locker room culture she is trying to build.
Christie Sides, why are you making it so your players are the only ones that feel like they need to speak up? See Becky Hammond going crazy on the sidelines. You see Becky Hammond yelling and screaming, getting at the refs, getting in their ears, challenging calls, not letting blatant missed calls take place.
So here we stand, at a critical inflection point in the history of the Indiana Fever and the WNBA at large. On one side, you have Kelly Krauskopf, the master architect, playing a silent strategic game, publicly backing her embattled coach while quietly dismantling the old regime around her. On the other side, you have a massive, unified, and furious fan base demanding the immediate return of a proven winner in Stephanie White to rescue their generational superstar. Krauskopf didn't come back to Indiana to sell more tickets. Caitlyn Clark is already doing that. She came back to hang more championship banners. The question is no longer if she will make a move, but when she will make it, and how explosive it will be. The entire future of a potential dynasty hangs in the balance, and the next decision she makes won't just change the team, it will change the league forever.